discussion that we have today. My name is Angel Walker, and in studio, the Sunrise crew is here. Don Stewart, G the Guru, and the rich babe Susie. Well, the in-house topic that we have on Nakolwaledo is life after childbirth. Are new mothers followed up, or it's just a situation of maybe after birth the baby is out, maybe the bouncing boy, the bouncing girl? What is their health like? What is their postpartum journey of recovery like? Do they really get back to themselves? I had a conversation with a lady a few days ago, and she said she hasn't recovered even after giving birth to a child after 5 years. I don't know tukwaniriza okubanga tweyungako mweno discussion. What has been your postpartum experience, and do our health facilities give us the very best? Let's find out from the team. Join us, use the numbers scrolling on your screen to be able to send us those experiences, comments, feedback, or whatsoever you think will be profitable to the different listeners that will be tuned in. Well, let's dive into the conversation. Guten Morgen.
Bonjour.
Is it sweet or sour today? I'm still waiting and anxious.
And I hear you people. On Sunday,
Yes.
I found out something.
What?
Do you know that there is a fish that gives off electricity?
Yes. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't. And guess what? Who
Actually,
made me know?
Oh, your son.
No, like I asked about the fish horse, because also that he helped me. Katinanga, but there is also this other one, and I'm like,
So
I really suffered.
hot or cold, and why?
It depends.
But they're not depending.
Yes, so you always have
I know,
similar
right?
responses.
Hot or cold, and why? Hot.
Why?
Because of hotness. It's
What?
hot.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So hot or
Oh, mommy, I would go for cold. I mean, in cold there are things like ice cream.
hot or cold?
I think me and Stuart have the same answers most times.
Hot is healthy.
But it depends. But hot is usually healthy.
I love tea. I'm so hot.
It's okay. It's okay. Today I'm alone.
You're putting
Yeah.
a lot of science in the whole thing.
No, G. I mean,
said
in this
no.
hot season, you cannot tell me you're going to be taking a hot cup of tea in the sun.
Guess what? My father told me
Yes.
anytime is tea time, we would take tea
Actually-
when it is scorching.
No,
hot.
actually,
By
that's
the way,
okay.
Let
That's
me tell
okay.
you something. When you take tea in a hot season, you get cold.
You know what
So
happens?
you
You know
all
what
go for
happens
hot?
when you take in something that is hot on a hot day. Your body reacting or cabin the heat inside, again releasing the moisture inside.
Okay.
So to combat the temperature.
So you all go
actually,
for
it's more healthy and advisable to take something that is hot on a hot day
It's
to
okay.
combat the heat.
Okay, mwena mugenzene hot. I take back my ice cream date with you.
It's okay.
Is it?
It's fine.
Jin?
It's fine.
People
Yeah, you get a
watching.
balloon.
On set, it's fine.
Either way, I take it back. I take it back.
Forgive
No, I won't forgive you, Jin.
But
Me
anyway,
too. It's okay. Oh, by the way, it's okay.
One might not.
well, speaking about cold and hot, and curious Okumanya, why C-section mothers who have given birth are not allowed to take cold things or something like that? Could you be knowing the reason as we unpack this?
Like they're
amazing
not allowed to
discussion?
talk anything
Yes,
cold.
Cold, something
usually
cold.
because I mean to avoid clotting.
Clotting of the
Yes,
blood.
of the blood, because they've gone through a major operation.
That this happens Ngabakazal, right? But with time you.
Of course, but because of the operation, the operation is not just it is
Yeah.
a major surgery.
surgery.
Yes.
So to avoid clotting, you take warm stuff so that the blood can move.
Nenze nzijukira omanyi tebakkiriza na fla
Flour.
like chapati.
Dough. Yes,
They don't
wheat.
allow you to have
Yes.
they don't allow you to eat chapati. Makama.
But you know,
to be mindful because it's a major surgery. Taking out a baby out of a woman is not a joke. And by the way, we should also demystify the fact that the people who push are better than those that do C-section. No,
No,
everyone
that's
is a
just
mother.
Sure.
Everyone is a mother, and it is important to know that if this method has failed, the next time they can push, though if you have given birth twice with C-section, they don't advise you to try pushing, because mothers usually want to try.
There is just a way those that do pushing look at those that do C-section as if for them they didn't fully give birth.
Naye kikulu abaana baba bazze ate n'ekirala, it is now when we are all dressed up here, unless I tell you I pushed or I didn't, and yet you know I have children, you can't know.
It's not written on your face.
We don't go with that thing. I know, right?
C-section, you mentioned something really critical. Normal birth delivery and C-section, nobody needs to be stigmatized.
Right.
And you feel like someone who gave a C-section is weak, or they couldn't. Stigma, it keeps coming up among, of course, maybe in-laws or in-laws, and maybe also the man not being educated enough. But let's unpack this journey of pregnancy. A new life is coming forth. I mean, it's not an easy thing, and how do you, and different people handle it differently. Very many pressures. Osanga nti mama yenalongo, alikatala ino mudala, and for other people, of course, pregnancy treats them differently. Oh yes.
Now, maybe what we should know is that a pregnancy takes 3 trimesters. The 4th trimester is what we are going to talk about.
Yes.
But for the sake of unpacking it for our viewers, the 3 trimesters are the first 3 phases that a mother will go through. There is 1 to 12 weeks, and usually these trimesters are not counted in months. They are counted in weeks. So 1 to 12 weeks, that is where the baby starts developing. You feel the heartbeat, the brain starts developing, internal organs start developing. And it is also important to know that in this first trimester, a mother is weird. So the husbands should know. They have food cravings, they have nausea, they have fatigue. So things like that happen. Kubanga wabeerayo abaami nga bw'obadde ogambye nga bo balowooza omukyala yeekoza naye nga actually in actual sense this trimester, the first trimester, it is important for us to know that mothers go through this phase.
It
and
looks
it is
like
okay.
a rebirthing.
Yes. And by the way, also mothers should know that there is a threatened abortion.
Yeah,
in
on
the
first trimester. Yes.
Yes, so kati oluusi ogenda okuwulira nga as if you want to
At
abort.
weeks is that? At what weeks?
No, in between there, 1 to 12 weeks.
Okay.
Any space in between there. Yes, so that is why it's good that the moment you get to know that you have conceived, you go for antenatal.
Yes.
Immediately you start antenatal. Then the second trimester is 13 weeks to 26 weeks. And in this trimester, the body parts are now formed.
Okay.
You know, they have the features have developed, and there is movement in the stomach. So it is also important to know that in this time there is movement. Why should we take note of the movement? Because there are some mothers who don't feel anything, and they say balaba bulabi olubuto nga lugeja naye nga ate tabifaako. But if you are going for antenatal, you make sure that in these weeks you notice movement. If you don't notice movement, please immediately go. That is how we avoid stillbirths.
Yeah.
Stillbirth is what?
Stillbirth is giving birth to a baby that is dead already.
Instead of saying dead babies, they say stillbirth.
Stillbirth, yes. So now also that our viewers should know, but also in the third trimester, 27 to 40 weeks. Now this is the last, and that is when a mother should expect giving birth. Yes, delicate time, and the time is up. But in this time, there are contractions. That is why, because of the contractions, the waters can break any time. So it is very important for them to know that it is a process.
Prematures,
Well, when you get to the third trimester, maybe the first weeks, the 27 weeks are
Yes.
premature, we can say premature.
Yep.
But usually omwana bwabanga atuuse around
Around 30 weeks.
30 weeks to 40 to
They're well
38.
developed.
They are well developed.
aba asobola okufuluma.
Ate fine bamuteekako mu nursery for them for their lungs
Stabilizing,
to develop further, but it is also good to know that in this time anything can happen.
But Jen, also to add on that, you've noticed that most cases, first-time mothers, omwana isn't up to those weeks.
True.
Yeah.
Yet for some, they can go as far as 42 weeks as the maximum. And Jean talked about the going for antenatal the moment you find out that you're pregnant. Why? It helps the doctors to keep a record or a good check on your progress, and they also give you the due date, what they expect. So these weeks that we've talked about, what to 40 weeks ngatoina, no contractions, no nothing. You have to go back to your gynecologist or to your doctor. Nakugamba, nakwasigning a day when to come, and it also helps to avoid the stillbirths.
But
Because
also-
if you don't keep record and you don't know, it's a problem.
But also to fathers, please make sure that every time, if possible, you go with your wife when she's going for antenatal, because at this time she really needs your support, more so on that third trimester when she's actually more delicate, and in the first trimester when you're most likely to have a stillbirth, you need to be supportive. She needs that support, because that support alone can contribute a whole lot. You going with her on that antenatal and making sure she's not stressed, she's feeding well. It really matters a lot to her to have your child develop very well.
There's something, Angel, that maybe we should also hint on that can that can be the reason why after the postnatal mothers should avoid something.
Yes.
Wabeerawo bamaama nga baagala okwekuumira mu size.
Ebya
Ebya
size.
size.
When they want to go back very fast.
Not even okay,
Yes.
kati baba tebalya
Yeah.
nti kubanga tayagala
Atageja.
geja, but in the second trimester it is known a mother has to start putting on weight. Kati gwelya for the sake of the baby.
The baby.
Kubanga bwobanga tolidde, that is how these children after they've been given birth to may survive or may not survive. Kubanga obadde tomfeedinga bulungi. As a matter of fact, there are some parents or mothers who go for that antenatal checkup and they are told your baby is underweight. But meanwhile, they are in the third trimester. And they are telling you that your baby must have this so much weight, at least 2.8, at least 3. Kati gwogenzeyo, you're in the third trimester, your baby is 1.8. That is not good for the baby. Kubanga neno bwoba omuzadde
Yes.
in the
Kijja
postnatal
kureflecting.
kijja kureflecting ate omwana kiyinza omukosa.
Omukosa. Wow. You know, okitunuliramu pregnancy is like a rebirthing G. Ndowooza mama wabanga aleeta omwana into the earth. Even them like they are being birthed, you know, psychologically and emotionally through this particular journey. And you know, motherhood is a journey. Naye Save the Children Uganda is of course one of the organizations that is international. It says that every day 16 women die during childbirth.
Childbirth, yeah.
Maybe sepsis, and it says that 94 of these actually every single day are stillbirths, and 51 are newborns. And when you calculate that, it's close to 67,500 deaths of children annually. Eno journey yokubanga oleeta omwana on earth has also some under factors. You know, we see the uterus evolution, we see the emotional, but I would like to know your views, Susie.
Well, when it comes to, you say, you've given us the statistics of how some people are affected. Some people lose their lives when it comes to giving birth. And we know that we have limited healthcare in some places. For instance, in rural areas, you might go to some hospitals and surely the midwives are few. Yet some people their situations are more delicate, and they may not even be in position to examine that this situation is more delicate compared to the other, hence leading to loss of lives for some of the people, which is a problem. They don't have scans. When we go to rural areas, some of them don't have these scans, because if the scans were maybe enough, or if they had them, they can know, okay, this child is in a very critical position, or the heartbeat is getting low, or the child is having this issue through the scan. If you've noticed, if your child has gotten a problem, or if you have pressure, or in case of those things, and you get to a hospital and they're in position to detect some of these things, sometimes if you think that you're going to push, you can actually be told to go for an immediate operation.
Yes.
Now, if this kind of medication, healthcare services are not there, or they're not enough, such problems may not be detected. And very many of these people will end up losing their lives, hence leading to even stillbirths. I mean, we've seen mothers who have lost their lives with their children.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, there is the journey of pregnancy or motherhood. We cannot say that it is a one-size-fits-all. Some people will tell you pregnancy yankola bubi, and we have seen mothers, the maternity mortality, or the mothers dying. I mean, the stillbirths, and they've continuously to increase. But there is an inevitable period that mothers go through, which is the postpartum.
Yes.
And I would like us to shed more light, even for our viewers that are watching us, like what really happens during that time. Because I remember one of the mothers sharing with me and saying that I hated my own child. And I don't know what are some of the stories you guys have had.
Well, their postpartum, just like we said, that people know the first 3 trimesters. The 4th trimester is not taken care of so much. And it's because at this time the baby is out, and especially it's not taken care of, especially on the side of the mother. But we have seen events where the mother passes because it has not been taken care of. You mentioned something very serious from the UNICEF report, and it talks about
Save the Children.
Yes, Save the Children, sorry. And it talks about mothers getting sepsis, for example. Sepsis is an infection that comes from that wound. Kati ekiwundu kigenda nekizimba oba nekifuna pass.
And I know more on that today. Bangamba mbo layers ziringa 5 6 batabana bakutuuka
kujjayo mwana. So a mother can have sepsis and no one ever gets to know. Nayenga or the caretakers, yonso mwana, they are putting the pressure on the mother to take care of the baby, but yet also the mother is in pain. I personally have an experience where we were in a hospital, a government hospital, very well facilitated, and this mother got into such a situation. And the baby, first of all, we got out of the rooms, and the whole hospital was under a stench. Simply because the nurses were not taking care of the wound, and they were insisting on the mother to breastfeed. So in this time, they noticed actually omukyala teyekoza kubanga abantu abasinga babalooza abakyala bekoza in that time.
At what point wotegera nti ofunye sepsis?
Now, because the woman can feel the pain from this wound, yes, they feel the pain. So they got the baby and rushed the baby to nursery. And then they got the woman and took her back to theater. So you see that kind of, first of all, now what happens to the baby? That means the baby has to start taking glucose. That is how now the formulas are introduced. You know, so because so we have to take note that sepsis infections do happen after these mothers have given birth, and that wound has to be taken care of vis-a-vis taking care of the baby's navel and also knowing the health of both. Yes, ekondi. Kati bombi tulina okulaba nti tubafaako tetufa ku mwana yekka, but also the mother needs help.
At Zendi Musanyifu nnyo nti this is a topic that like cuts across. I mean, when if you are working in IT, you need to know many of these things. And I mean, Stuart, I didn't mention you are cybersecurity.
But you know, one of the things that I've noticed, most of the nakawedis, we call them nakawedis here, something that disturbs them a lot is the sleep deprivation. Because children are different. You could have had your first baby when they are very peaceful. And there comes this other child. Now you have the other mentality that, only are very quiet. Also, this one is quiet. You may not even go as far as seeking for help. Or you may actually not have enough help. And you get this child, most cases, the time they develop colic.
Colic is
in Uganda, like the child is very irritated. They're crying. Sometimes you don't even know why they're crying. The whole night. Some babies can cry the whole night.
By the way, going with colic, just to shed a little bit of more light, it happens that the stomach inside is trying to contract and adjusting. Now, as to accommodate the feeding, but as it starts to adjust and to contract, or one atandika feeling uncomfortable, and that little pain, since it's foreign to the baby, agenda kutandika okukaba bwatyo, and of course it takes a little time. Omwana to can adjusting.
But
that is part of the
children. It may take even months.
Months,
and now the mother doesn't have enough help. The sleep is not enough. This child is new to the whole environment, so their sleeping patterns are different from what you are used to. And most mothers don't know. They usually advise us that when a child takes a nap, you should also take a nap. You should. It's a discipline that you're supposed to teach yourself. That do you know if you're used to, there is a connection between a mother and a child. Most cases when a mother even starts to feed, this child might wake up. Now you're trying to feed, but the child is also awake. So, which is not advisable to be eating as you're feeding, because they get used whenever you're feeding, they should also be feeding. Now, imagine the child has a different sleeping pattern, or maybe you don't even have help. You have these house chores to do. You didn't have enough sleep. Some husbands are not supportive, or some people at home are not supportive, or you don't even have help. This person, like, it keeps loading. Even you personally, if you're not a nakawere and you've been deprived of sleep, there is a way you feel.
Yes, true.
And this thing irritates mothers. Then they end up getting into depression.
Susie, Joe reasons and but I feel women or mothers need support. Stuart support how a husband and a man should support, especially this mother who's going through these different stages and these different phases, especially maybe if it's their first time to be a mother. Stuart,
of course, one of the first supports I will joke, of course, the financial support that is needed. Nedda tebwabanga oyo omusajja abeera taliwedde kutwala buvunaanyizibwa bwe, naye bw'obanga okimanyi nti ono omwana wo ddala kitegeeza buvunaanyizibwa bwe. By the way, omwami yali eyali mu kutulaba, buvunaanyizibwa bwe omukyala wo bw'aba azadde, kubona omwana wammwe mumuzadde babiri. Gundi enjogera eno erina okuvaawo nti awo oyo omwana jangu otwalewo omwana wo n'atandisa okukaaba. Nedda, olina okubeera supportive kubanga ono omwana wammwe babiri. Yes, ebiseera ebisinga ng'omwami oyinza okuba nga tosobola kubeerawo, yet omukyala yeetaaga a presence of a person agenda okumulabirira, kubanga olugendo luno olw'okuzaala omwana lubeera luzibu bambi bw'abanga ali mu kubikwasaganya yekka. Kakati alina okuyonsa omwana, okugezaako okwebaka omwana ng'azuukuka, bw'agezaako okugenda okufuna ekyokulya, ate waliwo engoye ez'okwoza, ate waliwo omwana okwoza gondi, okwoza bottles ez'amataayi, like all that things. So aba yeetaaga omuntu nga waali. So sebo omwami, bw'obanga tosobola kubeerawo nga gwe, olaba otya singa at least ofunayo omuntu, oba oliawo muganda omwannyoko, oba oliawo n'obaako omuntu gw'osasula okujja okubeera ne mukyala wo mu kaseera kano, omwezi ogwo ogusooka oba weeks ez'essatu ezisooka nga yakamala okuva muleeba, kubanga kigenda kumuyamba bambi naye okusobola okuregaininga her own self or getting back on her feet. By the way, kiyinza obutatwala bbanga okuggyako with exceptions ku bakyala abamu kiyinza okutwala ebbanga eddene nga tannaba kustabilizinga naye would want to believe that the first 40 days ng'omukyala amaze okuzaala agenda kugetting on their feet. So please bw'oba osobola beerawo omuyambeko. Omwana bw'aba akaaba tomugamba nti gwe kwata omwana wo ali mu kukaaba, nedda naawe wenyigiremu ositule omwana ono kubanga naawe kinyinyi kigenda kukuyamba okubondinga n'omwana ono buli lw'onaabeera ng'oli mu bulamu bwabwe. With exceptions nti oyinza okubanga emirimu tegikusobozesa kubeerawo, oba oliawo nga okolera wala, oba oliawo nga for some reason tosobola kubeerawo. Kaakati olaba otya singa ofunayo omuntu gw'osasula oba n'obaako omuntu oba w'oluganda lwo n'omuleeta n'ajja okubeerawo ne mukyalawo. The biggest support they need at that point is presence of someone okubayambako, kubanga wano omulimu gubeera munene nnyo. Togenda kusuubira mukyalawo nti avudde mu ddwaliro yagenda okwefumira amazzi waba afunye C-section oba nga yapushinze yeetaaga okunyiga sometimes, and all these things aba yeetaaga support y'omuntu.
Nze ndowooza Stuart kwe point, you have raised something very important. When we enter into the Uganda culture or traditional cultures, waliwo obuntu nti bwe bagamba bulina okubanga okola ng'omukyala, and I've heard that when a mother gives birth balina okumunyiga olubuto. Ate wogenda mu bannaffe abazungu, they have a different tummy, maybe whatever they use. Muwuliddeko ko maybe how someone can get back or heal as they have this childbirth, or when carryingamu omwana. The other day I saw a meme ngabagamba some of you are not flourishing kubanga tebaba na zakaya.
But you know, here in Uganda, especially in Uganda here, most cases when a woman gives birth, they recommend them to go back home.
Yes.
Bagende wakaba balabirire. Then nebabanyiga with those herbal, because now at times if you being a first time mother, Bambi, you may not even know how to carry a child. Do you know breastfeeding looks easy, but do you know putting a child on you is hard? As a first time mother, you may even need to be taught how to make sure that nipple gets into the child's mouth. So all these things, usually they tell the mother to go back home to learn these things.
But we should also know that when a mother, because now what you are talking about, okunyego mchala, is when they've given birth normally.
Normally, yes.
Normally is pushing, dear viewer. Now, when a mother has had a C-section, you cannot put water on that wound yet until you have been advised by your gynecologist. Now, the thing is, when a child comes out, this womb is still enlarged, it has contracted. But every time you breastfeed, it starts to go back in its normal position, slowly by slowly. That is why it's important for a mother to give themselves grace and time. Tochipapila. Some mothers have bigger stomachs and they take a longer time to go back, whereas others have smaller ones. So it is okay. Every time you put your baby here, it pushes the stomach and the womb starts to contract and go back in its normal position. And I don't know how even God did that, because there is a connection between the breast and the uterus. So you find that naturally it starts to contract back. So bobanga olieyo nga you were operated, you don't need to squeeze to do your stomach to push it back, to use the herbs. Just you follow the instructions from the doctors, it usually goes back. Yeah,
but you see, when it comes to C, if it has been, if your gyne told you when to come and it's not because of labor, usually such ladies have a problem in breastfeeding. It can take time. And very many mothers lately have a difficulty in breastfeeding. Like, ngataina mata. And this thing disturbs them a lot.
And I want you to really emphasize it because women tend to put themselves on pressure. Pressure tasanide.
Let me tell you, Angel, going zokanga tesanide. But when someone is going through this, now, I was telling you about here in Uganda, according to culture, a lady usually goes back home.
Yes.
And the mothers or the ladies there, there is a way they look at it, then they start throwing blame. Kampala, what, and all those things. You as a mother, it puts you on pressure.
Yep.
Katigojakula manga pressure tesani, but then you're asking yourself,
Nene pressure yennyini eyokulaba ng'oyagala oyonsa omwana wo naye ate amata tegali mu kujja.
That pressure alone. For some mothers it can even take a week without milk coming.
Ate nga bw'olaba omwana bw'akaaba omuteeke ku cow and gate.
So just this thing, it irritates you, it gets you very uncomfortable, it frustrates you as a mother. Ate some mothers, they can breastfeed for as long as only 3 months. I've met such a mother. Amata sirina, but surely when 3 months, sanana tandika kulia on their own.
Naita aina ensonga kulu reasons in regards to the recovery journey. Ate there are some maybe health centers that are specialized that do a follow-up on mothers.
True.
But when you look at hospitals, it will be like, when are you bringing your child for immunization? But this journey of recovery and those tena kubera just bouncing the baby bouncing baby boy. It should be also restoring the psychological and the emotional state of the mother. But well, let's hear from our viewers. If you are watching us, use the number scrolling on your screen. It's on WhatsApp. You can send us a direct SMS quote SMS kati or to sindikire experience yo yali etya. Oyinza okuba nga toyagala kutubulira linnya lyo ekyo nakyo kiryoke gwe tusindikire experience yo tusindikire kikyolowooza especially on this particular topic. Oba ndowooza ki gy'owuliddeko abantu gye bagamba twagala kubanga tuwulira kikyolowooza wabala okuba nga weekumidde on the Sunrise Show era katu deyo in our discussion. And colleagues, G, you mentioned something about the recovery, and I was triggered to look at the time working mothers are given before they bounce back to work. Echinta ekyo tukiyisizaamu amaaso for a very, very long time. Other people are given 1 month, others 2 months, others 6 months, and others a full year. In Tokyo, Japan, they give you a full year. Kugamba okomawo next year, ngomaze okuzaala omwana. But you are leaving your baby, who you're trying to adjust to, and going back to work where you have deadlines to meet every day, the pressure you were absent. Njagala to drawing more light on how it's important for one to recover before they bounce back to the
Thank you, Angel. What Susan was addressing is very important because see, the breast milk will only come, or not only, but well, one of the things that I know affects that breast milk formation is the psychological state of a mother. So because they are under so much pressure and stress, so you find that even the formation of the breast milk does not come. You have asked about going back to work. This mother is thinking about their job. That is how now you find that they cannot sustain breast milk for 3 months. Because when a mother knows, first of all, that they have all the time to give to their child, that it will come off naturally, I want to believe, because they are psychologically prepared, they are settled, their minds are not under any pressure. But there is something that happened 3 years ago. We lost a lady, and this is what happened. This lady had a C-section, and she went to, I mean, they brought her back to the room, and she was under recovery. It was the first time baby, and she received visitors, very many visitors in the room. And they're talking, they're laughing, the pictures, makeup, and all that. By the time people were thinking of leaving, that lady passed. Why? Because at that time when the mother has just undergone a major surgery, can we also understand that we should give them time to recover? Going to pay a visit to this mother is not a bad thing, but don't go immediately. Give them time to first of all calm down, the system to get back together. Give the doctors time to monitor this person, because we've seen mothers that are taken back to the ward with all these elements, you know, the oxygens, the heartbeats, the pressure guards, and all those things, just to make sure that the mother is fine. So it is also important for us to know, all us who have not given birth, or the sisters, the brothers, the mothers and fathers, apart from your husband. I mean, I think we can have one caretaker go and help this mother, because the recovery, because the recovery process is usually slower for especially those that have had a C-section.
Yes.
So chovosanga nga abazadde bali nga agenda okulaba omutwe gumuluma nyonyonyonyo lwaki alowooza project y'okumulimu ogamba banange calm down. And employers, we've talked about it here, where we should also have sympathy on these mothers. Yes, I know money has to come in, but the policies at our places of work, can they consider such a person? Because losing, for example, an accountant, and then you have to, who you've trained, put in a lot of resources, taken to all these nations and trained, and losing them to postpartum.
Abantu balina okumanya nti bw'oba ogenda kyalira omuntu, there is an invisible pressure you are putting on them. Chichogenda okulya, chichogenda tegeka, what time should I be there?
What about makeup?
Let me tell you, one thing I have noticed. Omukyala ayinza okuzaala saawa nnyo ez'okumakya. Also social media, women. Can you hold back that phone until you're out of hospital? True. Azadde saawa nnya. By midday she's online. Midday. One thing I know, if you're a C-section mother, you're actually advised to be off your phone for even 2 days.
Yes.
First of all, you have an issue with the back. Even the dagari bakuba mogongo.
Yes.
You should not expose yourself to those radiations of the phone. You're advised to put it away. Avoid phone calls. That's why they even go as far as telling you, can you try to avoid visitors? You need to rest. All these things. Yes, we know. We know you love them and you're very supportive. But give them a break. Let them first get out of hospital, and then you can visit. Unless kalenga ya kugambia, but your dear mother, you know very well. And also the doctors will advise you, you've just had a surgery. Don't go on your phone. Then exposing everything what? Yeah, you've done your makeup, so you want people to see you. That you're bounced back.
But why would someone do makeup immediately after?
We want to look nice.
You want to look nice.
Social media has placed us in a place where truly under pressure, keeping updated, giving the latest information. Yes, you have the influence, but I think your newborn child is the most important thing to you at that moment. And G. Susie and Stewart. Okubanga mama yatandika agenda for these antenatal visits. I think also the recovery journey must be given more also attention
the way it was given.
The same way she was preparing this child to come.
That's true.
Okubanga, she can be able to stabilize in psychologically and emotionally, and understand that this child or children are a gift from God and not a burden. Because at that moment of time, maybe your husband is shouting at you, and you are stressed altogether. So I feel how can health centers bategeka batya abachala at least to be able to bounce into this recovery journey? There is an organization called Queen Ma. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It trains about childbirth. This journey at the different stages, trimesters, this month, this is what you should expect. You should avoid this. You should take this. I mean, you going to YouTube and taking in every different information. The last time I was Googling, I checked. One person was saying Vaseline is good for this, and then I said avoid using Vaseline. So
you're putting yourself in confusion.
You're putting yourself in confusion. If you're going to take those classes, if they are, and I'm sure there are quite more, and also healthcare workers, I mean, to step up the game, should be able to support mothers. Sent you mama oba omwana afunyeka fever, that's when they should come. But also hospitals should put the initiatives to be checking on this mother every month. How long can you have an appointment, you have a visit? Okay, yes, if it's for payment, but
also, most of the Gondi chill embedded within our people and our societies. That postnatal is not so important. Actually, people will give more attention. Actually, those who do, who give more attention to antenatal than postnatal.
Stuart, have you heard of cases where a mother tells you they had a surgical blade inside them?
Yes.
And they totally had no idea that it was inside there, and maybe they left a gauze or cotton inside. By the time they awake, by the time they wake up, they're feeling strange pain and
and you know what? Me, I personally lived with someone who had that issue. And this is someone who had given birth naturally. I don't even know how that cotton got stuck there. And on top of that, a few days later, she lost the child. Now she had to deal with the loss of the child,
but also the
and then we go back. We go back and figure out these things because that's sigala feeling a pain. And you have to find out why are they feeling pain. Now she had to be treated 2 times, now psychologically and physically. But you know, very many, as she was calling up for the health workers to help, very many mothers are ignorant. They don't know that they actually need to be followed up, or they need this help. Amanya.
Based on statistics, based on looking at a report here, only 65% of the mothers receive postnatal care after 48 hours of giving birth. Just after 48 hours, you only have 65%.
Then 65% yetwogerako ya postnatal. How long is postnatal? Kubanga bambalowooza ya maybe 48 hours, abalala balowooza nti ya maybe 3 months. But I think it's a long. I would like to hear your view.
Well, depending on the recovery process of the mother. Because there are those that take longer and there are those that take a shorter time. But there's something Stuart stressed as he, gave us his view, the issue of fathers being involved, and that's what you asked first, that how can we help this mother? This father has to also get involved and training a father on what to do. Because now if the father, number one, doesn't go for any antenatal visits, usually I know of major hospitals that force or make it mandatory for a father to recover. That is when you'll find that even when they go for the wound cleaning and all, the fact that omuzadde asigala yeetala, because there is that time when they really have to be down. Just stay there down, let people around you support you. Then, so if the father doesn't know these things, they've not been told, they've not been trained, or sometimes have not given themselves into being trained. Ojja kusanga nti oyo omukyala will take a longer time to heal.
The burden ndowooza statistics say Stuart Jatuwadde 65% access postnatal. And I was thinking, What happens to the 35%? Because we see also the maternal mortality rate going high. We see the stillbirths. So you find that this 35%, more or just finding a fewer number of those who heal naturally, those who get complications for a lifetime, and those who lose their life.
And
you know, based on also the health
just to make it clear, 35% access postnatal care in 48 boka abo bebagenda ne bagifuna in the first 48 hours.
In the first 48 hours.
So actually they are more, even after 48 hours, banji abatagenda for postnatal care, and they think they will handle all these things on their own.
But also, we should know that according to the National Maternal and Perinatal Death Surveillance and Response Report, it says that despite all these, because we have seen, for example, Uganda, the maternal rates going down, postnatal rates going down, but it says that despite all the above statistics, the ones you have mentioned, very crucial, it says that Uganda's maternal mortality ratio still remains the highest globally. You can imagine globally. Now, that means this is a very crucial issue that we don't have to take lightly.
The problem, and the biggest problem there, is based on the mothers themselves. We have looking at the statistics that 1 in 4, that is 25% of girls aged 15 to 19 has ever gotten pregnant or they've given birth. Kati abana buli bazala nga bato bagenda kufuna complications zino, first of all because abamu kubo emibiri gyabwe giba teginabera developed enough to handle this whole process of giving out a life. Ekyokubiri, ebiseera ebisinga they literally have limited knowledge. Lwaki omwana ono bw'anaagenda okuzaala, olw'okuba olubuto probably alufunye ng'ali ku ssomero oba nga abazadde teba approvinga ku lubuto luno lwafunye, tagenda kufuna enough support. Kati in the midst of them not getting support, naye yennyini tamanyi, tagenda kubeera na maama agenda muyambako nti kaakati no munnange tugenda genda, ate nga ebiseera ebisinga n'omusajja amufunisizza olubuto luno naye tali supportive, tali waki kubanga naye muto munne tategeera,
tali prepared enough.
Exactly. So kati yensonga lwaki tugenda kubeera with this high maternal mortality rate. Why? Kubanga n'abaana ebiseera ebisinga bazaala bato, so limited knowledge, tamanyi nti there is something called antenatal, nti yeetaaga okugenda ffe mu lulimi lwaffe kye tuyita okunywa eddagala, tamanyi nti tamanyi nangeri gyagenda kudiringamu with herself after giving birth. Ebiseera ebisinga because of limited support ne bwamala okuzaala literally tamanyi kyakukola.
I love mama, but I love especially abazade, like the second time and these others. Those ladies, they don't usually like going back to hospital. They assume they know.
Well, let's hear from our viewers. We have a comments coming in from Rachel Katusima.
Hi, Rachel.
Flowers. Well, she says, I think hospitals do quite a lot, but you will find a woman going for antenatal in the last 3 months of their pregnancy, and you wonder what they were doing all the other 6 months. She continues and says others won't even go back for their 6 weeks postnatal appointment because they feel already good. So she ends with saying some women haven't deeply understood what actually happens. Let's say for a C-section, some don't know that it's several layers into their body. They are cut, so their postnatal care isn't intentional. Thank you so much, Rachel Katusime, and the more comments that are coming in. And I think she's raised something really important.
That's the same
3 months to the time we're going
to usually abakolecho nga bazalako kati talaba emergency the first child it all went well banabadako they don't
tunulira omukyala oba maama afunye olubuto luno naye nga bali mu mbeera ya bwavu. Ebiseera ebisinga they are in a rural area where eddwaliro liri wala emmini zituuka ku ddwaliro nga tazirina, oba waligambye nti omwami yali badde amuvuga akagaali oba naafuna piki naye nga byonna tebiriiwo. So kaakati omukyalo ono okugenda ku antenatal tagenda kirabanga priority nga n'okuteeka emmere ku sowaani nakyo kizibu okitegeera.
But Stuart, let us not mislead.
Of course, we are not misleading, but we are not trying to mislead them.
Government has increased on health facilities,
but it doesn't take away the fact that there are places.
Go for free antenatal.
I didn't mention that the antenatal was paid for. Naye even the means ojja kusanga, much as the government has done a very good job in putting health centers in different parts of the country, naye it doesn't take away the fact that there are places nga omuntu eddwaliro limuli wala. That is the true fact.
This is actually
and the means to get there is hard.
It's a very juicy conversation that we are having, but you people should extend to this time to maybe 10, maybe perhaps. We are closing to an end. We are closing to an end, and I would like just to give us maybe your last shot on this particular topic, and then we will call it a wrap.
Well, it is very important what Rachel has advised and talked about. A mother going for antenatal 3 months too is very dangerous. There are issues like fistula that happen to mothers where, uterus get torn and burst, and omukyala nasigala nga akulukutanga, bleeding and all these things.
Like that.
And all these things.
It's bad.
So it is important for us to know that antenatal, especially in the first trimester, is very, very important. Don't discriminate. If you are in a far-to-reach area, there are health centers. It may not be to your standard, but there are health centers because they are leveled 1, 2, and 3. They are all there. And antenatal services in government hospitals are free of charge. You go for the iron, and so that you can improve and increase on the blood in your body, because now you are competing for the blood that you have. Take care of the health, of the feeding, the diet, and so many other things that you will be advised by your health worker.
Well, thank you so much, Jay. That was really deep and very insightful. Susie, in a second.
We've talked about all this. I remember you mentioning about the recovery process, which doesn't take long, simply because some mothers actually have a few weeks for recovery, or some don't even get. In 2024, 11th December in Monitor, Minister came out and asked the police or the army, telling them to make sure these women get full leave. Ntinga weino kubera, it should be implemented, and to get at least 6 weeks that are fully paid in that antenatal. But these are some of the things that we don't know.
Yes.
And because we are very desperate for the jobs, which we've also talked about, that we are pressure about work, you can't even produce your milk well. So our dear bosses, put these things into consideration, because this employee needs to recover. And she also actually mentioned that when these mothers don't get the time that they need to feed their children, we are going to face malnutrition in our children, which is very, very bad. So let's implement this. Dear bosses, give those ladies enough time. Also, if you're being given an opportunity to take care of this mother, please do your due diligence and make sure your person is a week when they're well taken care of. They're only 6 weeks of recovery. Perform as much as you can.
Well, I love the fact that this discussion it touches everyone. Because you never know at what point you'll be and what help that you will give. The comments are really so many. Joanne Manuela says that, of course, rural areas do lack access to antenatal care, and of course, mothers remain at stake, the infrastructural challenges that are attached to it. So the statistics are quite sad, she says, but I think there must be change. Each one of us plays a significant role. Well, we do wrap up the crucial, juicy discussion we have had today. Support mothers. Whether you're a health worker, you're a neighbor, you stay with someone in-house who's expecting, please support them as much as you can. And well, there was also a question that came in and someone said, hey, can I support, how can I support Sunrise Show? And I was like, okay, you can support it in various ways. You can use the number scrolling on your screen and we will be getting in touch with you. And also we want to thank Kisha's Fashions.
Yes.
It's located at Marizi Complex. That is at the basement B29. Thank you so much for dressing us. We do hope for the best for you. She has dinner dresses, you know, those outfits. Maybe you have international conferences.
Yes.
You can reach out to her at Marizi Complex, room B29. So to everyone else, you are very welcome. And thank you for staying tuned on the Sunrise Show. See you tomorrow. And from us to you, we say bye-bye.